So these are our addition and subtraction formulas. You'll be given these on the next test, so you don't have to memorize them. All right, so on the formulas, you'll either be given the left side and you're going to use the right side of it. So notice where this equal sign is. So you're either going to be given the left side, you use the right side, or you're going to be given the right side and you're going to use the left side. You'll see what I mean when we actually put them into practice. But again, these will be given for you, so you're really just like matching which formula you use, because there's 6 different formulas here and you're just going to use one of them in each question. So starting with our first question here, these numbers actually don't work out, so I'm going to change this to be 11 pi over 12. I think this one should work. So our goal is to find what 2 numbers on the unit circle that add up to 11 pi over 12. It's a little bit harder to tell when it's in radians, so let's convert it to degrees. So I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel. 12 goes into 180 how many times? 15? Yeah. So we have 15 times 11. So we have the sine of 165. Now we want to see what 2 angles on our unit circle add up to 165. So you could use 30, 45, 60, 90, anything on the unit circle that adds to 165. What 2 angles would we use?
30 and 135.
Sure, that works. 30 and 135. There's more than one way to add them up. You could have said 45 and 120, or I don't know, other options. There's more than one right way to do this. So 30 and 135. So we have the sine of 30 plus 135. Does 30 plus 135 equal 160? Yeah. So just make sure that it adds up to what it's supposed to. And both of these are on the unit circle. Now I'm going to copy my formulas from the last page here so we can use them. Bless you. All right, so our equation goes sine with a plus in the middle. So which one of these has sine with a plus in the middle? The first one. So we're going to use the right side of it since the left side was the one that's given here. So we're using the right side. Now when we use the right side, it uses s and t. So the first number is going to be your s and the second number is your t. When you're adding, it doesn't really matter the order because we could have said 135 plus 30, but just make sure you're consistent with it. If 30 is your s, just make sure you're plugging that into the s's in the equation. So we have sine of 30 times cosine of 135 plus cosine of 30 times sine of 135. Now we're going to use the unit circle to help us solve. That's why we wanted to pick 2 numbers that are on the unit circle. Whenever we have a sine, we look at the y value on the unit circle. Whenever we have a cosine, we look at the x value on our unit circle. And then whenever there's a tangent, we do y over x. But here we just have sine and cosine. So for sine of 30, I'm going to go to my unit circle, go to 30 degrees. Sine tells us we look at the y value. So what's our y value at 30 degrees? 1/2. Perfect. So we're going to plug in 1/2 here. Then cosine of 135. Cosine tells us we look at the x value. So I'm going to go to 135 degrees. What's our x value at 135? Negative square root 2 over 2 is our x value. Sansia.
Wait, how do you know that? I'm so sorry. You have right there.
All right, then cosine of 30, we're going to go to 30 degrees. Cosine tells us we look at what? The x. What's our x value? square root 3 over 2. And then sine of 135, we're going to go to 135. Sine tells us we look at the y value. What's our y value? Square root 2 over 2. Now we just want to multiply these and then add them together. So when we multiply, we're going to multiply straight across. So 1 times negative square root 2 would be negative square root 2. And what's 2 times 2? 4. What is square root 3 times square root 2?
Square root 6.
Square root 6. Awesome. We can multiply them together, but they stay under the square root, so square root 6. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Now we have a common denominator, so we can add these together. So you could either say negative square root 2 plus square root 6, or I'm just going to change the order and say square root 6 minus square root 2. Can we add these together? No. They don't have the same number underneath, so you can't combine them. You just got to leave it separate like this. We just combine them with the same denominator.
Wait, why can't you?
Because they don't have the same number underneath. It would only be able, you'd only be able to add them if you had like square root 3 plus square root 3. If they were the same, this would be 2 square root 3. You can multiply them.
Oh, the same numbers.
Yeah, they have to have the same number underneath.
Wait, what if you have like a 2 times square root 3 plus 2 times square root 3, that'd be 4.
2 times square root 3 plus 3 times square root 3 would be 5 square root 3. So you need the same square root if you're going to add them together, but you don't need the same square root if you multiply them together. So that's why we were able to multiply square root 3 times square root 2. All right, let's do number 2. So we want to find what two numbers on the unit circle add up to pi over 12. Add or subtract to pi over 12. We're not really sure what degree this is, so let's convert it. We're going to multiply by 180 over pi. The pi's cancel and 12 goes into 180 15 times. So we're looking for the cosine of 15 degrees. Now what two numbers on the unit circle add or subtract to 15? 45 minus 30, perfect. Now again, there's more than one right answer. You could have said 225 minus 210. But these are good small numbers, they work. You could have said 60 minus 45. There's more than one right way. You'll end up with the same answer at the end. So we have 45 minus 30. So we need to figure out what formula goes cosine with a minus in the middle. Perfect. Cosine with a minus would be the fourth one. So we're going to use the right side of our equation here. So the first number is going to be our S and the second one's our T. So we have cosine of 45 times cosine of 30 plus sine of 45 times sine of 30. Now let's find each one of these. Cosine tells us we look at what? The x or the y? The x. Awesome. So I'm going to go to 45 degrees. What's our x value at 45 degrees? Square root 2 over 2. So here we have square root 2 over 2. Then we have cosine of 30. Again, cosine tells us we look at the x value. What's our x value at 30 degrees? Square root 3 over 2. Plus, then we have the sine of 45. So I'm going to go to 45 degrees. Sine tells us we look at the x or the y? The y. What's our y value at 45 degrees? Square root 2 over 2. And then sine of 30, 1/2. Perfect. The y value at 30 would be 1/2. So here we're going to multiply straight across. What's square root 2 times square root 3? So multiply, we'd get square root 6 over, what's 2 times 2? 4. Plus square root 2 times 1 would just be square root 2 over 4. So this would simplify to square root 6 plus square root 2 over 4. On the next page, we're doing things a little bit different. So on the right side, we still give you the unit circle and all the formulas. So you'll have this on your test, the unit circle and all the formulas. But here it gives us the right side of the formulas. So we need to figure out which left side does this match, or which right side does it match, and then we use the left side. So we want to see which formula goes sine, cosine, minus. So going to my formulas, which one goes sine, cosine with a minus in the middle? The second one, perfect. It goes sine, cosine, minus. So since it matches the right side, we're going to use the left side here. So we have sine of s minus t. So the first numbers are s and the second ones are t. So sine of 124 minus 34. So sine of 90. Now this question asks us for two things. It says to write as one single trig function. So this is the first answer to our question, writing it as one single trig function. The second part of the question says to find the exact answer. So we want to figure out what this equals. So we're going to go to our unit circle. We're going to go to 90 degrees, and sine tells us we look at the x or the y. Sine tells us we look at the y value. Perfect. So what's our y value at 90 degrees? 1. Awesome. So our second part of our answer would be actually solving it, which is just 1. So with number 4, the question is actually wrong. I'm going to change it. This should be a minus in the middle. So just changing the question since there's a typo. So we want to see which formula goes cosine, cosine, minus. So going to our formulas over here, which one goes cosine, cosine, minus? The third one, it goes cosine, cosine, minus. So we're going to use the left side, which is cosine of s plus t. So we have cosine of 205 plus 125. So cosine, when we add these together, we get 330. So this is the first answer to our question, was actually finding the single trig function. So we have cosine of 330. Next, we want to find what this equals. So we're going to go to 330 on our unit circle. Cosine tells us we look at the x or the y? The x value. What is our x value at 330? 330? Yeah, square root 3 over 2. Perfect. Awesome. So this is our second answer here. So with number 5, we have a tangent with a plus sign in the middle. So which of our formulas has tangent with a plus sign in the middle? The first one. Perfect. Tangent with the plus sign is tangent plus. So tangent, the first number is going to be our s, second one's our t. So tangent of 35 plus 175. So we get tangent of 210. Now tangent, on the first page, we said tangent is y over x. So it's not just looking at the x or the y. We have to do a little bit more math when we have a tangent. But let's go to 210 degrees on our unit circle. 210 would put us here. Our y value goes up top, so it's negative 1/2 over negative square root 3 over 2. What do we do when we have a fraction in a fraction? Keep, change, flip. Keep the top, change to multiplication. We're going to flip the bottom to negative 2 over square root 3. Then we just simplify. The 2's cancel. We get 1 over square root 3. Can we leave a square root in our denominator? No. What do we need to multiply by? Square root 3 to the top and the bottom. So that would give us square root 3 over 3. So that's one part of our answer. This was the other part.